Welcome to another Liquid Bullet Productions. Today I'm going to be taking a little look at the suspicious death of Lee Balkwell. 33-year-old Lee Balkwell from East London was found dead in the early hours of the 18th of July 2002 at Baldwin's farm in South Auckton. Lee was employed by father and son David and Simon Bromley at Upminster Concrete Limited. He had previously owned his own haulage firm, but due to personal circumstances was no longer able to run the business. On the 18th of July in 2002 at 1:03 a.m, an emergency services call was placed by Simon Bromley from his home, which was also where Upminster Concrete Limited was based. Seemingly there had been a tragic accident where Lee Balkwell had been killed whilst working on one of the company vehicles.
Simon Bromley made statements claiming both he and Lee had been working on a cement mixer to remove dried material from inside the drum. The drum of the cement mixer was designed to rotate so any cement wouldn't set whilst being transported to customers. Simon Bromley claimed to have turned on the engine without realising Lee was still climbing out of one of the access hatches. The drum must have started to rotate while Lee was exiting the hatch feet first. This trapped him between the drum and the chassis. Lee died of multiple injuries, but not the injuries expected from someone trying to exit feet first from inside a moving drum, which had raggedy sharp edges due to dried cement. This alone would have caused cuts to someone trapped inside as the drum rotated, and Lee had no cuts anywhere that would match the edges. One of the paramedics who attended the scene on that summer's morning made a written note which read, "Foul play," with a question mark. Another paramedic, whilst giving evidence at the first inquest, said she did not think the scene was an accident when she attended. Although it was warm summer's evening, it was 1 a.m. when both Lee and Simon, with next to no lighting, had been removing the dried-in cement from the drum when this alleged tragic accident occurred. Police decided Lee had died of an accident, although the inquest in February 2008 returned a finding of unlawful killing. So who could have wanted Lee Balkwell dead, and why? Could his new employers been involved in some way? After all, they were not your standard business involved in the construction industry. The Bromleys were also involved in supplying drugs. In 2006, Essex Police carried out a year-long investigation called Operation Portwing, in which David and Simon Bromley, alongside 5 other men, were convicted of supplying and selling drugs. Simon Bromley was sentenced to 8 years for making 12 sales to an undercover officer, totalling cocaine to the value of £28,000. David Bromley was sentenced to 3 years for conspiracy to supply cocaine, and Simon Bromley was ordered to pay back £210,000, which on appeal was reduced to £48,000. Simon Bromley, while still on licence for the 2006 conviction, found himself back in the dock in October 2014 for cultivating cannabis and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Simon Bromley actually used the death of Lee Balkwell as the reason to why he had started using and selling drugs, as his business had declined and he had been making a small income as a handyman. Does the fact that Bromleys were subsequently convicted of drug offences have any links to Lee and his death? There is more than just the actions of the Bromleys surrounding Lee's suspicious death. Did Essex Police carry out a full and proper investigation? The inquest revealed that they may have been lax in their efforts in investigating fully Lee's death. In December 2008, the IPCC, which stands for Independent Police Complaints Commission, started an investigation into the handling of Lee Balkwell's death by Essex Police. In August 2009, the IPCC recommended an external police force be brought in to re-look at the initial investigation. This recommendation was refused by Essex Police, leaving the IPCC to bring in just one officer who specialised in murder investigation to do a review. After the IPCC received a report from the specialist officer, Essex Police reopened the investigation and in July 2010 and brought in officers from Kent Police Force to assist. It was later discovered the head of Kent Police, who had been part of the team reinvestigating Lee's death, and Essex Police initial investigation had actually been employed by Essex Police back in 2002 and had failed to disclose this to the IPCC. In 2011, the results from the 2009 report from the IPCC were shown to detail why Essex and Kent Police reopened the case in 2010. The report found that Lee Balkwell's clothing had no forensic testing carried out and subsequently was destroyed. No phone records were checked and they failed to take witness statements. Alongside these failings, it was revealed 8 senior officers made 25 serious errors. Out of the 92 complaints made by Lee Balkwell, only 19 were upheld. Amongst those upheld were the failed to secure potential evidence, missed chances to interview witnesses, and did not treat the death with an open mind, closing the investigation before a true result could be determined. Dr. Michael Heath, the original pathologist in Lee's death, found the injuries Lee sustained were consistent with Simon Bromley's version of events. But Dr. Michael Heath, who has now resigned from the British Medical Registry after an investigation by the Home Office Advisory Board on Forensic Pathology, was due to his work being called into question in the death of Stuart Lubbock in 2001, who was found dead at the property of television celebrity Michael Barrymore, as well as producing 2 other post-mortem reports that led to 2 innocent men facing murder charges based on his findings. Going back to Lee's death, reports from other pathologists stated it was not possible to exclude the possibility Lee had been assaulted and dragged across the farmyard before his death. Police photographs apparently show what appear to be cigarette burns and other scorch marks on Lee's body. In March 2013, Essex Police had Lee's body exhumed for another post-mortem, which showed no signs were apparent of any violent altercation or evidence of torture. This was probably due to the fact of the passage of time and normal decomposition processes. There was also allegations a stun gun may have been used on Lee, but no information or evidence of additional injuries to Lee has ever been confirmed. Why these apparent injuries were not recorded at the inquest is still not known. In 2019, the Balkwell family hired renowned pathologist Professor Dick Shepherd to write a report for the latest application for judicial review into Lee's case. Professor Shepherd was very concerned that Lee's death in association with the vehicle had been set to look like an accident, as the scene was too neat and organised, and the story Simon Bromley told simply does not fit facts. TMI detectives have carried out a review into Lee Balkwell's death and have spent the last several years reviewing and investigating Lee's death, as well as assisting Lee's father, Lee Balkwell, on the latest judicial review proceedings. Please head over to their website or their social media pages for all current updates. And keep watching Liquid Bullet Productions, as we have lots more coming up in conjunction with TMI, Albert Patrick and David McKelvey.
On the 30th of May this year, Lee Balkwell received the High Court decision that he had lost his challenge against Essex Police for their decision not to reopen the investigation into Lee's death. Dame Victoria Sharp said it was reasonable to conclude alleged new evidence was insufficient. Also commenting after the ruling, Detective Chief Superintendent Lucy Morris of Essex Police, who said, "We know that Lee Balkwell's death is incredibly painful for his family. They still have questions about what happened to him. We know there were failings in the original 2002 investigation, and for that we are truly sorry." Lee's family do not believe that justice has been done, and they do not feel that the verdict of accident is a true representation of what happened that evening. And if you're enjoying the content in Liquid Bullet Productions, give us a thumbs up, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything that we've got coming up, subscribe to the channel and make sure you share.